Minister Gallagher, the Prime Minister promised 100% renewables would deliver the cheapest form of power. The Capacity Investment Scheme is a key part of Labor's reckless energy plan that shifts the costs and risk of wind and solar onto taxpayers. Australian families and businesses are already paying soaring energy prices. If Labor is so confident this is the cheapest approach, it should be able to state the cost clearly and publicly. Can the Minister please inform the Senate of the total cost of Labor's Capacity Investment Scheme in the 25-26 budget, and to assist the Minister, is it within the quantified contingent liabilities?
Thank you, Senator Hanson. Minister Wong.
Thank you, President. Just a point of order. My recollection is, and I might be wrong, Senator Hanson, is that the Capacity Investment Scheme is in the climate portfolio, not the Treasury portfolio, so you would need to address your question to a different minister.
I am addressing it to the Minister Gallagher because it is to do with the Treasury and it's about the budget papers.
That's your entitlement to do that. Minister Wong.
With respect, President, the Westminster system works on ministers who are responsible under the administrative arrangements for portfolios and agencies in their area. So it is not unreasonable for us to request that the minister who is responsible for the agency, if I'm right, and I think I am, is this minister to whom it's addressed.
Minister Gallagher.
Thank you, President. I'm just wondering, Senator Hanson, if you could repeat the last bit of your question. I just couldn't hear the exact question. I heard contingent liabilities, but just a bit around that.
Thank you, Senator Hanson. Wait for the call. Go now. Thank you.
The last part of the question is, can the Minister please inform the Senate of the total cost of Labor's Capacity Investment Scheme in the 25-26 budget, and to assist the Minister, it is within the quantified contingent liabilities?
Thank you, Senator Hanson. Minister.
Thank you. Well, I don't have the budget papers with me, but it would be in the contingent liabilities, and it would probably also feature in the statement of risks as well. So it is fully accounted for. There is a review of the Capacity Investment Scheme that's currently underway, but the costs associated with it, and I'm happy to come back and provide. I don't have that document in front of me, sorry, Senator Hanson, but I'm very happy to provide that number to you. But it is accounted for and was accounted for in my EFO, and it has been an important part. If you talk to big emitters, it has been an important part of our response to addressing climate change, to reducing emissions, and to supporting the economy as that transition occurs. It's a worldwide energy transition that's happening, and we have to respond to it. I know there's different views about.
Minister, the time for us. I beg your pardon.
Oh, I was going to say,
obviously
just
my
getting started.
Need cleaning.
When we came to government, 24 out of 28 of the ageing coal-fired power stations had announced they were closing within the decade. 8 had already closed, including Hazelwood, because they were old and at the end of their lives. And so rebuilding the energy grid and supporting big emitters with reducing their emissions is a necessity. We have to provide an energy grid that works for the future, and the reality is the infrastructure we had, the policies we had that were under the former government weren't delivering that change, and the government has worked across the economy to support that transition. I will come back on the exact figure. The review is underway and the books do account for it.
Thank you, Minister. Senator Hanson, first supplementary.
Thank you very much. Well, Minister, I'm very happy to hear that you intend to give me those figures on the Capacity Investment Scheme, because the Labor's Capacity Investment Scheme listed in the budget papers as not for publication. So, Minister, you are keeping the true cost of Labor's 100% wind and solar energy strategy a secret from the Australian people. Well, you've just told me you're quite happy to give me the figures, and I want those. That's wonderful. So, if you're not going to come up with it and under the budget papers, if it's supposed to be,
thank you, Senator
not for
Hanson.
publication,
Your
why?
time has expired. Minister Gallagher.
Thank you. And I was trying to assist Senator Hanson. I answered your question. It is factored into the budget. It is contained in the contingent liabilities. There is a review underway. Where figures are commercially sensitive, we can't release them, but I am happy to provide you with whatever information I can around the capacity investment scheme. 23 capacity investment scheme agreements have been executed with projects representing 7 gigawatts of capacity, and negotiations are continuing with 33 projects. The CIS, the capacity investment scheme, is delivering at least 40 gigawatts of new renewable and clean dispatchable capacity to replace capacity from the ageing and increasingly unreliable coal plants, as well as place downward pressure on electricity prices and help deliver the Australian government's renewable energy target by 2030.
Thank you, Minister. Senator Hanson, second supplementary.
Thank you very much. Minister, I'm asking you to tell us how much it's costing the taxpayers with this for wind, solar and batteries. That's what we have to know. Is it 50 billion, 60 billion? How much is it costing the taxpayers? Why are you keeping the secret from the taxpayers? Because they're footing the bill for this. The taxpayers have a right to know. Now, you said you'd give me figures, so I'd be interested to see what figures you intend to give me.
Thank you, Senator Hanson. Minister Gallagher.
I am explaining to you, Senator Hanson, that I will try and provide you with whatever information I can. Where those investments are commercially sensitive or not for publication, of course that is a constraint. But I can also give you figures on what is actually happening with driving or building the new energy system here. I mean, this is about making sure energy remains affordable in light of the fact of our current ageing infrastructure, including those coal-fired power stations that are no longer providing the energy that we need. That's the reality. They're closing, they're ageing, they're breaking down. I mean, I remember even just a few years ago, if you had a heat wave, people had to try and manage their electricity output. Because we have put in place new energy into the grid, the energy system is a lot more stable than it was.
Thank you.
Here is the shorter, sharper English version of this script, optimized for quick reading and high impact. A spirited exchange in the Australian Senate has put the cost of Australia's renewable energy transition back under the microscope. Specifically, how much transparency taxpayers deserve. Regarding government spending, the clash occurred during question time when Senator Pauline Hanson questioned Finance Minister Katy Gallagher about the Capacity Investment Scheme, a program designed to drive investment in clean energy and storage. Hanson demanded to know the total cost of the scheme and where it was located in the federal budget. She argued that if the government's energy policies are going to deliver cheaper, more reliable electricity, Australians have a right to see the exact price tag. After a brief procedural debate, the Senate President ruled the question valid for the Finance Minister. Minister Gallagher explained she didn't have the exact budget papers in front of her, but noted the costs are integrated into the federal budget framework, including contingent liabilities and risk statements. Gallagher then framed the scheme within the broader context of Australia's energy crisis. She argued the government inherited an unstable grid with aging, scheduled to close coal-fired stations. According to Gallagher, government support through initiatives like the Capacity Investment Scheme is crucial to maintaining grid reliability, reducing emissions, and keeping pace with a global clean energy transition. Hanson, however, pressed hard on the issue of transparency. In her follow-up questions, she demanded to know why certain financial figures for the scheme were classified as not for publication in the federal budget documents, arguing that taxpayers have a right to know exactly what they are funding. Minister Gallagher countered that while she intends to maximize transparency, certain details involve commercially sensitive material that legally cannot be disclosed publicly during active contract negotiations. She emphasized that this does not mean the spending is hidden from official government financial reporting. Gallagher highlighted progress under the Capacity Investment Scheme, noting that agreements have already been finalized with several clean energy projects. She reiterated that the program's core goal is to inject new renewable generation and battery storage into the national electricity market to replace failing coal-fired stations. Unsatisfied, Senator Hanson pressed for a specific dollar figure, demanding to know if taxpayers are facing a bill running into tens of billions of dollars. Minister Gallagher repeated that she would release all legally appropriate data, but firmly maintained that commercial secrets must be protected during active investment rounds. She closed by defending the spending as a necessity, arguing that Australia's aging coal infrastructure is becoming too unreliable and expensive to maintain. This clash reflects a much broader national debate over Australia's energy future. While most agree that replacing aging infrastructure requires massive investment, political parties remain deeply divided over the transition's speed, which technologies deserve funding, and how much cost information should be made public. Proponents argue that scaling up wind, solar, and storage is the only way to lower emissions, secure future supply, and stabilize the grid. Critics, however, continue to question the overall price tag, how those costs will be split between taxpayers and consumers, and the lack of transparency surrounding major funding commitments. The Senate exchange perfectly captured this divide. Senator Hanson remained laser-focused on public transparency and the total bill, while Minister Gallagher prioritized grid reliability, the urgent reality of retiring coal plants, and the commercial realities of the transition. As is typical in Parliament, both sides used question time to draw battle lines over the Capacity Investment Scheme, renewable energy costs, and power bills. For everyday Australians, the core questions remain unchanged. How will this transition be funded? How will costs be tracked? And where do you draw the line between commercial secrets and public transparency? We will keep monitoring federal energy policy and bring you updates as they drop. Thanks for watching. What do you think are the most critical questions Australians should be asking about our energy future? Let us know in the comments. If you found this breakdown helpful, please subscribe for more factual coverage of Australian politics and public policy.